Well, for more on that much needed aid for Ukraine, I'm joined on the set by France 24's Philip Turrell. Philip, first of all, how much are we talking about exactly, and where are we in the progress on this aid?
Well, if I were in Volodymyr Zelensky's shoes today on my way to meet Nordic leaders in Norway, I wouldn't be feeling so optimistic about the fact that this money was going to be turning up anytime soon. We're talking about a huge package from the United States of $60 billion, which is due to be handed over to keep Ukraine's war effort up and running. And that money is still not forthcoming. It's part of a bigger aid package of $106 billion, with part of it also earmarked for both Israel and Taiwan. But it's all being stopped by the Republicans, who say they want the Democrats to take more time to solve the problems of the southern border between the United States and Mexico to stop illegal immigration. And until that happens, they're not going to approve the bill sending the money to Ukraine. So Volodymyr Zelensky may be saying that there have been positive signals. I think many of us are still trying to see which positive signals he's talking about, because right up until now it appears to be completely blocked. And if you look at aid overall to Ukraine since the start of the war up until the 31st of July this year, the United States is by far the biggest donator of military aid, $46.6 billion. That is way ahead of $18.9 billion by the Germans and $7.3 billion from the United Kingdom. So if the aid from the US stops, there's no way the EU can fill the hole and support Ukraine single-handed if the United States decides not to send that money. So I think there's a lot of concern both on the side of Joe Biden, who wants that money sent there, and also more especially on the side of Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine.
In the meantime, I imagine that the Russians have been rubbing their hands in delight almost.
That is true, and Joe Biden's even said, well, if that aid is not forthcoming, we'll be giving a wonderful Christmas present to Vladimir Putin, the Russian president. He has just given the green light for a massive increase in aid to the Russian military forces of $109 billion. That's a 70% increase over 2023, and that runs up to about 3% of GDP in Russia, which is a stupendous increase. So I think there's definitely a feeling in Russia that Moscow has taken over with the buoyancy, the push forward is making progress. They know that there is a split in the West. They're going to sit down and wait. And there have been some pretty coy remarks coming out of the Kremlin from Dmitry Peskov, the spokesman, saying that what basically the West is doing is a fiasco. And even if they do agree on sending this aid from the United States to try to boost the war effort in Ukraine, well, that will be another fiasco. I think you have to take all of this with a pinch of salt, but that leads one to understand that there's a feeling of superiority and positivity coming out of the Russian side. It's all forgotten now that Russia was struggling just a few months back.